Today, I'm gonna show you how I went from not being able to speak English to speak it in just 2 weeks. How I used the same techniques to partner with Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi through mastermind.com, and how I went on one of the biggest stages to touch thousands of lives called TEDx. This helped 80,000 people in the world thanks to my service, and I am so excited to share it with you. So, bend reality by lying to yourself. How to be, do, and have anything you want. So, what this document will cover is the mind is the universe. How reality is shaped by belief, not facts. How the have, do, be trap keeps you stuck. The be, do, have shift that bends reality. Why becoming starts with lies. How to install a new identity step by step, and review action items for the next few days. They're gonna shift your life forever. By the end of this, you will understand why your identity is the root cause of your entire life, how to consciously lie to yourself in a way that upgrades your reality instead of keeping you stuck. The mind is the universe. The starting point of all transformation. Everything you see, touch, and experience and react to is a direct extension of your mind, not your brain. This is not philosophy, is the mechanism of reality. Your brain is the hardware. Your mind is a field and operating system. Until you understand the difference, you'll stay trapped in your past. This is something I say to everybody. It's giving you your brain, it's giving you, let's say, a laptop, but you can always upgrade your operating system. Some people think they have to change their brain, they have to change something physical in their life to change their life. In reality, you have to change only the operating system inside of your brain. Your brain is a record of your past. It's just a tool that records what you're doing during your life. But you can always change and use your operating system during your life. Now, let's understand this in the next part. So, the brain versus the mind. The brain, hardware, manages biological functions, stores and recalls memories, regulates movements and reactions, built from neurons, blood vessels, electrical and chemical signals, limited by biology and evolution. It cannot create from nothing. It can only recombine what it already knows. It doesn't see the future. It looks for patterns from the past. Relying on the brain alone, you will repeat cycles. It's like a system with not intelligence, so it's keep operating the same way. The mind, the field. It's a not physical field of thought, imagination, attention, and identity. The space where beliefs are born projects your reality outward, and the mind is not inside of your skull, is the field around and beyond your body. The mind is not constrained by time or space. You can imagine futures that haven't happened, or you can relive memories so vividly they can feel real. You can visualize possibilities that don't exist yet. So this is also how to connect with God, source, universe, spirit, quantum field. Not something separated from you. It's the same thing expressed through you. Here's something you have to know. It's been studied that everybody has around a big magnetic field created by your emotions and your thoughts, what you think and what you feel. So now, have you ever had that feeling that you meet someone, you say, oh, this guy, this girl has a very good vibe. I really feel it. You're not talking about, oh, she looks great physically. You're having that feeling, their vibe, their vibration. So what's that vibration? It's their field. And as you are able to feel it from them, they're able to feel it from you. So you have it too. One thing, also you have people that when you say, I don't like that vibe, it's because their energy, it's also shrinked. They don't have a good magnetic field. They don't have a good field that's generated by their emotions and their thoughts. And that's why you're receiving that feeling. So this is something that's very important because people think, also that they are separated from God and separating from the quantum field. In one of my videos, I expressed that if you look at your hands, if you go inside of your hands, you're gonna find tissues. Then what do you find? Cells. Then after the cells, what do you find? DNA. And if we go ahead until the subatomic level, so we have atoms, and then the atoms, you have the neutrons, the protons inside of a nucleus, then you have electrons spinning around. If you go deeper than that, you get to the quantum realm. In the quantum realm, everything exists under frequencies. So our frequencies, energy. I simplify it by saying energy. So if you are made up of energy, and everything is energy, you are not separated by anything. You see separation, but there is no separation. You're part of one big field, one big energy. So now, let's understand that you are not separate from God, source, and universe. You have been trained to believe that God is out there, or the universe is watching and judging you from outside. Power is something above you, outside of you, or higher than you. The separation is the biggest lie people can tell you. The truth, what people call God, source, divine intelligence, quantum field, loving intelligence, these are all labels from the same thing, limitless mind and loving consciousness. That same consciousness is operating as you. The mistake most people make is they keep praying to it instead of coming from it. They beg for signs from something that's already inside them, waiting for activation. Once you get this, you stop asking for miracles and you start creating your own miracles. When you start changing yourself, things change outside. What you believe, you feel, and you create. What you feel, you create. So if you feel the creator of your life, you're going to create the life that you want. There is no God that wants you poor, miserable, and that judges you. There is a God that loves. There's a universe that appreciates and loves. There is a divine field, a consciousness that wants the best for you. So, beliefs, the operating system of your reality. Life doesn't show you what's fair. It shows you what you're projecting. What's true for you becomes true in your experience. It's not about deserving, it's about what you're broadcasting. Example, if you believe money is hard, you subconsciously block opportunities. You pick up friends and environments that enforce that struggle. You don't even see easy paths because they don't match your belief. Two people can be in the same room, same economy, same situation. One sees opportunities, the other one sees obstacles. The difference is not the world, it's what they believe the world is. And I want to tell you this. Have you ever had that friend you really wanted to help with something? You start talking to them, you start making them understand, hey, it's not exactly how you see it. You can do this, you can do that. You start giving them some different points of view, but their reaction is basically staying the same. You feel that nothing is really changing, even if you're putting the effort for them to change. Well, it's really not your fault. It's the fact that this is the way they see the world. They are seeing the world through a filter of lack or disappointment or frustration. And you can't do anything from the outside to change their opinion. Because if they don't want to change, the change will not happen. You can influence them, but you can't control them. So the same is with you. Let's say the world is really telling you can do more. You can have the relationship you want. You can feel the success you had. You can feel enough and abundant in your life. And you can feel energetic in your life. You can be the person you're talking to the others to be. But if you believe that is not you, if you're gonna stay stuck on it's not enough, then you're not gonna see any opportunities, and you're always going to see your life through that filter. How truth is manufactured. Truth for you is equal to belief plus repetition plus emotional confirmation. Not facts, evidence, and logic, but you have seen, heard, felt, thought enough times what has been emotionally reinforced and repeated. And here's the key. Beliefs are programmable. You can install new belief, You can uninstall old ones, and your outer reality shapeshift to match the new inner code. This is why changing your belief feels like magic. You suddenly notice synchronicities, people, and opportunities, but it's not magic. You just stop blocking what was always available. Since everything is energy, since everything is vibration, once you change your belief, you're gonna change your energy. It changes your vibration. That's why things are start happening that you don't even know why they're happening, but they surprise you and you feel like, wow, I'm in a magic flow. It's not magic, it's because you just changed one thing, your energy. Life is a mirror, ancient laws plus modern psychology. The Hermetic principle, number one, the all is mind. The ancient Hermetic teaching says the all is mind, the universe is mental. And this is not metaphorical, it's really literal. As above, so below. What you experience in mind becomes matter. Thoughts are not private, they are generative blueprints. They are not just thinking, you're ordering reality. If you walk around thinking life is hard, I never get ahead, I don't deserve more, you're not simply describing your life, you're coding it. The way you describe your life makes your life. The way you describe reality makes your reality. This is what I learned in years of working with 80,000 people. When you're trapped into a story in which you feel life is hard, I never get ahead, I don't deserve more, there is no space for something else. There is only that. And you're ordering their reality so you can stay consistent in that thought. I know sometimes it's hard to hear, and we're gonna get harder to hear something else here, because when you understand that everything is a mirror, you start using reality instead of having reality using you. So, Hermetic principle number two, vibration. Everything moves, nothing rests. Thoughts have a vibration. Emotions emit frequency. Every frequency attracts its own kind. Love attracts more love. Fear attracts more fear. You don't get what you want, you get what you are. If you want different outcomes, you don't need a better goal. You need a new vibration, a different emotional baseline. Shift how you feel, the world responds accordingly. Psychology and confirmation bias and the inner thermostat. Confirmation bias. Your brain filters reality to confirm what you already believe. Its job is not to show you the truth. Its job is to show you what's consistent with your existing beliefs. Example, you believe I'm not charismatic. You ignore every smile, compliment, or positive interaction. You're laser focused on the one person who looked away. That becomes your proof. You say, see, I knew I wasn't good at this, but you only proved your filter, not reality. The thermostat metaphor, your mind is like a thermostat set to a certain identity temperature. Whenever life rises above your self-image, you unconsciously sabotage to back down. Whenever your life drops below your self-image, you fight to bring it up. Change the settings or the identity, everything else follows. I want to tell you a funny story. Two guys going to this Starbucks. They start ordering coffee. One believes he is really amazing and charismatic, and the other one believes he is not. The first one gets into the store and order coffee, and three girls look at him and they start laughing among each other. What does the guy think based on that belief? He's gonna think, oh, see, I'm charismatic. I'm so awesome. I'm a great guy. I'm a good looking guy. Awesome. Then the other guy gets into the Starbucks. He does the same thing. Orders coffee. Three girls look at him and they start laughing and among them. What he's gonna think about it? He's gonna think, they're right. They're laughing at him because I'm not a good looking guy. I'm not charismatic. I'm not awesome. I'm nothing special. You understand that maybe those three girls were looking at something else beyond those guys or behind those guys, and they were laughing. It was nothing that had to do with them, but what they believed it was made their day. So when I'm saying you only proved your filter, not reality, that's what I mean. The Pygmalion effect. Expectations shape performance. Study. Teacher were told random kids they were bloomers. Teachers consciously treated them differently. More warmth, more challenge, more feedback, results. Those kids' IQs rose more over time because belief, behavior, result. Expectations are contagious. The energetic climate you live in becomes your ceiling. Now, imagine turning that inward. You become the teacher of your own mind. You expect greatness from yourself unconditionally. You talk to yourself differently. You tolerate less mediocrity. Your identity rises to match the new standard. So, the reticular activating system, RAS. Your RAS is a bundle of nerves in your brainstem, filters millions of bits of data down to what you consciously notice, decides what's important and what's not. You program it with repetition, emotion, and attention. Example, you buy a car, a specific car, you suddenly see it anywhere. It didn't appear more. Your RAS decided it was relevant now. You are never seeing reality as it is. You're seeing a filtered simulation based on what you keep telling your mind to prioritize. If you tell your mind, I always attract opportunities, it starts showing you conversations, messages, ideas that match that. If you think life is hard, it blocks out evidence that life can be easy or magical. Not because those realities don't exist, but because your filter says they are irrelevant. The observer effect. This is my favorite one. Attention collapses possibility. From quantum physics, at the subatomic level, particles exist as probabilities, as I told you, as vibration. The act of observation collapses them into a specific state. So let's translate this. I'm very tangible. How you look at reality changes what becomes real. Your attention collapses timeline into form. What you assume is real becomes what you perceive. What you perceive becomes what you act on. What you act on becomes your experience. You are not a passive character in your story. You are the observer, the chooser, the writer behind the scenes. So you activate timeline by claiming them. This is something very important. In the quantum realm, has been studied that when the observer comes, something material happens in the quantum field. So you can see atoms, you can see existence, okay, in a matter form. When the observer goes away, everything goes back to the realm, to this quantum field. Now, that means, what are you observing now in your life? It's creating more of that. So stop focusing on the things you don't want to see. Focusing on the things you really want to see. Stop focusing on lack. Start focusing on abundance. Stop focusing on not feeling loved. Focus on, I'm a lovable person. I can give love and receive love. And that will create more love in your life. And you will receive more love in your life. So I'm going to share now something nobody really likes. Really is the hardest lesson you can ever have in your life. But it's so true that if you apply it, it's going to shift your life forever. So this is the mirror room metaphor. Life is not a classroom. Life is a mirror room. It doesn't teach you lectures. It reflects your inner world back at you. Your bank accounts, relationships, environment, energy, your busyness, they are not happening to you. They are flowing from you. The world doesn't respond to what you say you want. It responds to who you believe you are, the frequency you live in, the identity you keep rehearsing. This is why affirmation with weak identity don't work. I'm rich, repeated from scarcity identity, doesn't bend the mirror. The mirror doesn't reflect your words, it reflects your being. So you don't get fit and then you believe you're an athlete. You believe you're an athlete and then your behavior and body catch up. Identity first, results second. This is a study that I loved so much. They studied that when you look at yourself in the mirror, you're not seeing the present image. You're seeing your image a little bit back into the past. A little bit, milliseconds back into the past. So If you want to change that image, if you want to change your present, if you want to change your future image, and you want that image of your life to smile back at you, start smiling right now. That's what I would say. If you want to see that image happier, being happy right now. The past doesn't count. It counts what you feel right now. When I said your bank accounts, relationships, environment, and energy, they are not happening to you. They are flowing from you. Some people sometimes feel like guilty, or they feel like, no, this is not me. It's just happening to me. Two different behaviors. One is super responsible and one that is super victim. Let's understand that those two behaviors are very, very negative, both of them. So if you are like, oh, it's my fault, and you're feeling guilty, and you're holding that feeling guilty not to take actions, stop feeling guilty and using that emotion not to move in your life and start moving into your life. Second, if you are then the victim is the person that's saying, no, this is happening to me. It's not my fault. Everything is happening all at the same time. I don't know what to do. Now, you have to understand that they don't think they can change their life. They are giving out power outside. So it's easier to say, I can't do anything about it, because it removes the power of changing your life. But most of all, it removes you from one of the most important things you should do that in the moment you don't want to do, which is raising your energy. Nobody wants to feel like they are in power, because with a lot of power comes a lot of responsibility. Not guilty, not fault, but responsibility. So stop being in a guilty cycle, in a negative cycle, victim cycle. Start being the person you want to be, knowing that when you shift your energy, it's a simple thing, your life will shift. Your life is always giving you the mirror to understand what you need to shift, what you need to improve. And once you do it, once you accept that you have to always learn in your life, then it's going to be way lighter than it is. The have to be trap. You've been programmed with this formula. Have, do, be. I need to have the right resources so I can do the right things, and then I can finally be the person I want to be. It sounds logical, but it's a trap. Why this model keeps you stuck? You think you need money before you act like an entrepreneur. You think you need love before you can feel lovable. You think success must come before confidence. Result, you never feel ready. You delay action. You postpone belief in yourself until there is proof. Your identity is held hostage by your circumstances, but your circumstances are shaped by your reality. So that's a self-locking cage. External validation and fragile self-worth. The have-do-be model outsource your self-worth to money, social proof, titles, results, and approval. So when you don't get an outcome, you don't just lose a result, you lose a piece of your identity. Your sense of self becomes fragile and reactive. Your sense of self becomes fragile and reactive. You're only as good as your last win. And let me tell you this about myself with a true story. I got a lot of success in my life. I made things happen. And I always felt that, yes, I'm getting successful, but I felt that not enough, or emptiness. I always want to achieve the next result, the next thing, which is still that way, but in a different way. In the beginning, I was doing that to check the boxes, to prove it. And when I didn't achieve it, I was identified with my results. So I was my results. And I realized that is a bad way of living your life, because you never enjoy it. You feel you feel that you're making success happen, but then you don't feel and you don't enjoy that success. You feel empty. You maybe sometimes feel not enough. And what happens when you don't achieve a result, when you don't check a box? You feel the world is crumbling, that you're nothing, that you're nothing special, that you are, yes, that empty, that not enough. And so I realized that you're not your results. You have results in your life, but you're not your results. So you have hands in your life, but you're not your hands. So let's understand this. Let's say you made a bad cake. Are you gonna say to yourself, say, I am a bad person, I'm not enough because I make a bad cake? It's just a cake, you just need to change the recipe and make progress. But when you are the cake and the cake is bad, then you have to feel bad. Nothing says that. You are you, you are special, you are the one making results. You are the one that can make better results, but you're not your results. You are a wonderful person. You are something that you have to understand who you are. And once you understand who you really are, the results follow that identity, that person. Hustle without embodiment. This model creates endless grind, exhaustion, and burnt out. You can hustle for years, stack achievements, make money, and still feel like a fraud, behind, or not enough. Because you never become the version of you who could actually own it. The missing piece, it's not more effort, it's a new identity. The be, do, have shift. The real formula is be, do, have. Our reality actually works. You don't need to have first, you need to be first. Instead of waiting for money, be the entrepreneur now. Instead of waiting for love, be the version of you who lives from love now. When you choose to be first, you move from reaction to command. Action becomes natural. What someone like you would do. Results follow and are attracted, not forced. Identity is the source code, the root operating system, the thing everything else flows downstream from. You will not act out of alignment with your self-image for long. So, when I realized that I was not my result, that I was Cosimo, that I was special, that when I realized that I didn't need my results to define me, but I could define myself, who I was, who I wanted to be for the people, for the world, everything changed. Everything changed. And I think you too can do the same. It's exactly what happens for people that really want to be successful in their life, which is not just making money. Money will find you because you are the person that now can use them to be good with it. Is the person that loves first and is able to receive love from people. So it's really important to have that shift. And this will get better now. Identity is frequency and timeline. Your identity has a frequency. When you tune into the identity that already has what you want, you start behaving like a person who has it. Opportunities, people, and outcomes begin to match that. This is not fake it until you make it. It's become it until it's obvious. Action taken from your old identity feel forced. Action taken from your future identity feel natural. When identity and action are congruent, results compound, time collapses, things that used to take years can happen in weeks. The metaphysical side, one metaphysical quantum level, the field responds to assumption. Observation collapses potential. Choosing to be the future you now collapses a new future into the present. You don't wait for the mirror to change. You change the face you're bringing to the mirror. Results are delayed reflection of who you were. Change who you are now. Your future updates like software. When here I say results are delayed reflection of who you were, it's exactly the metaphor I was telling you before. There is a delay in the mirror. And that delay basically is going to say to you, you are now the person that doubts something's going to happen in the mirror, you're going to see it, or the person that now, the new version of you that keeps having faith, trust in the process. If you start having trust in the process when there is a delay, oh my gosh, things are going to happen to you faster and faster that you're going to feel so blessed in your life that you're going to talk only about faith and trust in life. When I say faith, I'm not talking about religion. I'm talking about, everything is happening for you and with you and within you. And so they have trust that everything is going to happen because you're putting the effort and because you are changing your energy. Becoming starts with lies. Here's the uncomfortable truth. To become the future you have to lie to yourself first. What is a lie, really? A lie here is not a moral issue. It's simply a statement that doesn't yet have enough evidence, proof, or consensus to be considered truth. 100 years ago, many scientific truths would be considered lies now. They just didn't have enough updated proof. So, a lie is just unconfirmed truth, a future you that your nervous system doesn't recognize yet. When you say, I'm powerful, I'm wealthy, I'm magnetic, I'm charming, or whatever it is, at first, if you don't believe those, it feels false, your body tenses, your ego laughs, your brain screams, imposter. That resistance is not a sign you're wrong. It's a sign you're disrupting an old identity loop. It's a loop. It's an infinity loop. You have to cut the loop and go on another road. Now, to cut the loop, you have to look outside of that image and see something that you don't know yet. So now, I have many clients that when I meet them for the first time, I ask them, do you feel wealthy? Do you feel you deserve in your life? Do you feel worthy of love in your life? And they say, no. And now, when I tell them, start saying, I am wealthy. How does that make you feel? An imposter. Say, I am worthy of receiving love. What does that make you feel? An imposter. You know what happens? We may get in an argument because they have in their mind, they are not worthy of receiving love. And so now, I told them, you know that to believe you're not worthy of receiving love, that it's something you learned and you lied to yourself to learn that part? And it feels real because now that lie became real. But your brain doesn't believe the opposite. And that's a lie at first. It feels uncomfortable at first, but then you're going to change it and it's going to feel true to you. And when someone's going to tell you you're worthy of receiving love, then you start connecting with that part. So now, why don't we start lying to ourselves for our own good living and giving in life instead of feeling the victim of what happened and rehearsing those lies forever that don't make you feel any better. The truth versus lies. Same ingredients, different quantity. Both truth and lies are made of reasons, evidence, repetition, confirmation. The evidence is how much of each you have stuck. You didn't always believe you were shy, broke, not enough. Those beliefs were installed over time. Likewise, you can install, I am powerful, I'm wealthy, I'm a leader. Truth is constructed, not discovered. So these are 4 stages of becoming. Lie. You say it before it feels real. I am X, but it feels fake. Then there is a delusional belief. You act as if. You speak, you move, and you choose from it. The suit in the beginning will feel too big, but you wear it anyway. Then, realistic belief. The world gives you feedback. People respond differently. You get results that match the new identity. It starts feeling natural. And then the embodiment. You just are. You're not trying to believe. You don't affirm it. It's your default. You cannot skip the lie and delusional phases. Most people quit exactly there. You know why they quit? Because their brain, it's like a thermostat. It's gonna bring them to what it thinks it's relevant to them. And it's not to become successful or worthy of love. It's to be still miserable because at least it's predictable. So you know it's gonna happen, that you're gonna lie to yourself, you're gonna have the delusional belief. But even if you feel that suit, it's too big and you're weird anyway, believe me, after you pass that part, it's like you suddenly become so buff that you say, oh my gosh, I really fit this suit. Then you forget to wear it because everybody's seeing your suit and you say, wow, you really fit in that suit. So what I say to my clients sometimes is, focus on the finish line. Don't focus on what you're feeling right now. That's what your brain wants you to. But you focus on the finish line. What are you going to think about yourself when that suit is fitting you perfectly? What people are going to say about you? What what the world is going to respond to you when you see that you're wearing that suit with confidence. And guess what happens? They pass through that and boom, their life changes. Micro proof, how you turn lies into truth. This is going to be very important. To speed up the process, look for macro evidence that your new identity might be true. A compliment, a small win, a new idea, a different reaction from someone, a moment where you felt powerful, calm, or certain. Write them down, journal them, revisit them, build a literal case file for your new identity. As you do, your RAS starts noticing more of the signals. Confirmation bias starts working for your new identity. You don't need massive proof. You need consistent alignment signals over time. Eventually, it becomes harder to believe your old story than the new one. That's when the quantum leap locks in. And I remember this moment a lot. I was really journaling. The first time I was changing myself, I was really journaling. What I was doing is, every day I was saying, you know what, today I believed that I was worthy of love and I was enough. And what happened? Well, this happened. Well, this person told me that. And so I was writing this down. And you know what? Reviewing what happened yesterday, those small wins, make my brain to see how farther can I go with this. And I was getting excited. In the beginning, it's going to be very small because your filter is still focused on the old way. But then once you pass the delusional part, you start noticing more and more and more, and you start feeling really that's happening. And when you feel that, oh my gosh, your life is already changing, if it is not already changed. Examples of great bent reality. Steve Jobs, famous for his reality distortion field, demanded impossible timelines and outcomes. His conviction was so strong, people rose to meet it. His belief banked what others thought was possible. Muhammad Ali said, "I'm the greatest," before the world agreed. He declared it until it became the only acceptable reality. Identity came before belts and titles. Conor McGregor spoke like a champion while still on a welfare. Visualized belts and specific knockouts ahead of time. The world called it delusional until it became documented history. All followed the same formula. Declare, believe it, become. They declare, believe, become. They lied first, reality adjusted later. Identity warfare, starving the old self. This is not just mindset work, it's identity warfare. You're dismantling an old self reinforced for years, stories you've repeated thousands of times, environment and relationship that reflect that old version. To kill the old identity, you must cut off old stories, old labels. I'm always broke, anxious, unlucky, or whatever. Old humor that reinforces limitation. Old environments that keep mirroring your past. No more "I always" stories that point backward, jokes about being broke or unlucky, venting loops with people who love your old problems. All the time you obsessively feed the new identity, language, emotion, behavior, imagination. You think from it, you speak from it, you move from it, you surround yourself with mirrors of it. This is crucial. This is fundamental. Let me tell you. Honestly, I wasn't excited to cut off with some friends. But as I was becoming different, some friends noticed it. They were drinking, they were smoking. I actually never drank or smoked, but I was in that environment. For me, was acceptable. And what happened was that when I was shifting myself, some people said, "You're different." And some of the closest friends told me, "You're talking different. You're talking about something impossible to do. I don't really agree with this. You're like crazy now," or whatever. And they were trying to keep me the way I were. And yeah, I know they loved me and all of that, but I want to say something to you. It wasn't easy. But I needed to change my circle. I needed to surround myself with new people. And what I did, I was starting networking, going to some meetups. And you know what happened? I found new friends that were building, creating their life. They were struggling with their creating the life they wanted, but at least they were creating something. And they were in the mode of my identity creating the life I wanted. And so what happened? That we became very good friends. Anyways, I want to say to you that it's important that you cut with your old stories. And your old stories you're using inside of yourself are keeping you the same and are keeping you safe, because you don't know what would happen if you start changing yourself. But that's what you need to teach your brain. That unfamiliar, that something new, it's not scary. It's normal. It's important. It's safe to become a different person. And when I was changing myself, and I always believed I was not worthy of love, I wasn't enough, despite people that loved me, because they didn't see that. I mean, I wasn't a filter, I wasn't a story. And I was using my childhood, my life story, for me not to see ahead, to start believing I was loved and I was worthy of love. When I caught myself thinking, making a joke to reaffirm some problems I had in the past, or being sarcastic about my past, I stopped doing that. I said, if this is closed, it's closed. In my new identity, I feel worthy of love, and I feel magnetic. I feel I can enjoy my success. And so once I decided, decision from Latin means cut out, I cut out that story and it started being a different story. I start believing in a story that I was writing instead of the story that someone, life, wrote for me. So it takes energy. As I said earlier, it takes energy. It's a simple thing, but it's everything. Energy is everything. Emotions, rituals, and environment. Identity doesn't stick via information. It locks in via emotion and repetition. Use music that puts you in your future self state. Posture that signals power and certainty. Mantras that turns the identity back on. Environments that reflects the future you. Upgrade your space, clean clutter from your old life. Dress like the person you're becoming. Proximity matters. Spend more time around people who see your futures as obvious. Spend less time with people obsessed with your past. This is very clear, I don't need to explain so much. The moment the scale tips. You don't know when it will fully click. But if you keep repeating the new identity, keep stacking microproofs, keep acting from it even when it feels dark, there is a moment where it suddenly feels normal. You don't need to hype yourself up. You don't ask, will this work? You move as it already has. It's gradual, then sudden. You walk in the dark long enough for the light to switch on. And once they are on, you barely remember it used to feel like a lie. And this is very important to understand. You remember? You're looking in a mirror of the past image. You want that image to smile? Then start smiling right now. There will be a delay, but that's the moment in which you have to trust the process. Now let's review this. We covered the mind is the universe, mind versus brain. The mind is the field, brain is what's inside. Consciousness, God, source of your own mind. Reality as we are not separated from it. Reality as a mirror. Hermetic principles, vibration and psychology. Confirmation bias, thermostat metaphor, the Pygmalion effect, the RAS and the observer effect. How powerful you are by observing reality. The have, do, be trap. External validation, linear time, handless hustle and burnt out. Because you have to prove your results every time to see who you are. The be, do, have shift makes identity as the source code. Being first, doing second, having third. Becoming starts with lies. Truth versus lies as a spectrum of belief. The 4 stages: lie, delusional belief, realistic belief, embodiment. Then microproof, examples, and identity warfare. How to actually use it? Choose the identity, acting from it daily, structuring your environment, emotions, and ritual around it. So action items, let's act. Choose the identity. Pick one identity you want to embody. Let's say I'm a millionaire creator, or I'm a calm, powerful leader. I'm a disciplined, high-performing athlete. Write it as I am identity now, not one day, now. Because if you're focusing on one day, it's going to happen one day and you don't know when. You're ordering, you're at the restaurant, you're ordering something, you're ordering right now. Speak, act, and think from it, even if it feels fake. So for the next few days, make a decision by asking, what would the version of me who already lives this way do right now? What would the version of me do? And so think, feel, and do the stuff that your brain suggests. Then do that, speak from that version, create from that version, move like that version. Let the behavior show up before the evidence and get excited because you're focusing on the finish line, on the evidence of the finish line. Build your microfile proof. Create a page or note titled Evidence My New Identity is Real. Every day add 3 to 5 micro confirmation, a thought that felt more powerful, a small win, a compliment, a bold action you took, a different reaction from someone. Review this list daily. You're training your RAS to see more proof. The more you read it, the more your brain will see this is a priority. Clean up your environment and stories. Remove or reduce people who constantly mirror your old self. Spaces that feel like your old life. Jokes and stories that reinforces lack or limitation. And add one daily ritual, walk, journaling, mirror talk, where you enter the state before you act. This is very important. About the people who constantly mirror your old self, go to Meetup. Choose people that are building in your life. Choose the environment they think they already have what you want. And that puts you in the state of, oh, I see that's possible. Okay? Now, live from the future, not towards it. Every time your brain asks, but is this real yet? Answer with, it's real because I decided it is. Let's focus on it. The world is catching up. Then move. If in this video you found something important to yourself, to just make that small change that will shift your entire life, comment. Maybe people has to listen to this. So follow me for more videos. We're gonna have so much fun. See you in the next one.